I had a saying in a thing I wrote for this grant project that I was trying to apply for. And in the essay, I wrote, the bees and the flowers that produce the honey that we use have since vanished from this earth. But the product of their efforts and the existence are left with us to preserve forever in a bottle.
And that's true, because the bee that made the honey is already dead. She lives only 6 weeks, and the flower is already shriveled up and gone. It's exactly true, and we've preserved that essence in a glass. And that's the beauty of it. That's what inspires me so much as a mead maker. And I agree.
And it comes through in your meads, Tom. I mean, seriously, it shows.
I've won a lot of medals, but I like I tell everybody, I'm just a yeast farmer and a keeper of bees. They do all the work. They provide me with a perfect ingredient, and all that I can do is to try to keep it as perfect and maybe make it a little bit better through my skills. Maybe if I'm very lucky, but I just and I've made a lot of bad mead in my time, and I'm very and so that's how you learn. But we owe it to the bees and the flowers to do that, to take it and take this beautiful thing and make it into something at least as beautiful, if not better. And when it works out, we're so fortunate, and that's why I love sharing it with people, so that they can try something and they can tell me, oh, I don't like mead, I've had it. I'm like, well, try mine. Well, I don't like, try it. And you almost put it into their hands, and you almost force it upon them, and their eyes. And I'm sure this has happened to you too, Sergio and Bob. It's like their eyes light up. They're like, wow, this is really good. And it's like, thank you.
It's so good when it hits
most of the work. And the aroma, and when you want to get the empty glass back from them, and they're holding it, and they're like just want to smell that aroma. And do you have any more? And you want to pour that little last drop. When I was at UC Davis, we had a mead sharing, and I only brought 2 bottles of the 375 of my tropical heat wave, the one that got best to show, the pineapple mango habanero ghost chili. And Mike Fairbrother was so kind. He was so he got up and he told everybody to try the mead, and he said that I'm an artist. He called me the Renoir of mead, which was amazing. It was such a
that's cool.
So like everybody came up and they wanted some, and I only had 1/2 of a bottle of 75 of the last left. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. And then finally I just handed somebody, I'm like, well, here's the empty bottle. And they're like sitting there smelling the bottle. They're like, this is so good. I wish I actually had some.
Yeah, it was kind of like me with Bobby and your stuff at the Mazer Cup, because I got up there late after the show.
Well, and that was like me when Ken, with Ken's, Heart of Darkness. I sat there and I was like smelling the bottle, and I'm like, is there one last drop down there? And as a mead maker, there's science involved in process, and we talk about the nutrient additions and what yeast we use and filtration and the biochemistry, but there's also art involved, and that's something you can't really measure. You can't. You measure it in the glass when we taste it as a judge or something, but it's not like you can measure the pH and the TA and the residual sugar and say, oh yes, this is going to be excellent. I mean, it's not that way. It's a painter might use pigments and a paintbrush. A sculptor might use stone and their chisel. A chef might use all those ingredients. I try to compare myself to a chef. But as a mead maker, I have the honey and I have the fruit, and it's something that I imagine in my mind when I start. And sometimes, much of the time, if I'm really fortunate, it turns out pretty close to what I imagine in my mind. But it's not like I just put it together and just forget about it. So many people ask me, what was your recipe? And I'm like, well, even if you knew my recipe, you probably couldn't make what I did. And I'm not talking, I'm not like, it's not like I have an attitude. I'm really humble, but it's true. If somebody knows a recipe but they don't know the process, they're not going to be able to do it. It's like asking a painter, what paintbrush did you use and what pigment did you use? Which is a fair question. If you're learning, anyone might want to know that. But just because you know what paint they use doesn't mean make you good. It's not going to make you a Picasso. Or like Mike Fairbrother called me a Renoir of mead. I mean, that's amazing. It's like I'm so grateful to be thought of that way. And all I am is a farmer of yeast and a keeper of bees. They do the hard work. I just make it into something as good as I possibly can because I have passion for it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think after that anybody would doubt that you have passion for it, Tom.
My rule is there should be no shitty mead. I mean, and when somebody is making shitty mead, I want to help them. It's not like I'm trying to hold secrets. I want to help them make better mead. Even if they don't even ever sell it or enter a competition, just for themselves and their family. We're such a small industry, and even if homebrew is crappy, I mean, that's already making a bad name for mead. Even though homebrew is, like I was at our homebrew club, a few weeks ago, and I had one of my last bottles of my Tropical Heatwave, and we were all drinking it, and I was pouring it, and somebody asked a new member, "Would you like to try some of Tom's mead?" And the guy said, "Oh no, I don't drink mead." And of course we all kind of laughed. It's like, well, it was best to show, and your loss. He didn't know. I mean, he could have. We didn't even explain it to him. Like, more for us, It's like we kind of laughed about it. But it's like, you don't even want to try it. And maybe he did have a bad experience with one mead that he tried the one time, made by somebody who, maybe had the best of intentions, but they just didn't have the knowledge.
Or maybe just a style that wasn't appropriate to him.
Or or friends telling him when it was good when it wasn't.
Not all mead is sweet. You can... But that's why, we have these wonderful homebrewers, like Carvin, for example. I mean, he has no desire at all to ever go commercial. Or you, Bob, too. It's like no desire to ever go commercial, but, wonderful homebrewed mead. As good, if not better, than many or most of the commercial products that are out there. And that's what we need. We need excellence. We need excellence in commercial. We need excellence in homebrew. And that's what I want to do. It's like sharing a recipe. I mean, that doesn't teach anybody anything. You need to teach them the process and the art, and how you can take something in a glass and learn how to change that.
How to make
and
good
how to make
mead
it
rather than what the good
something
recipes
exquisite. Something where your empty glass, you just want to hold it because it smells so good, and you don't want to even give your empty glass away because you're going to be sad. And that's what I aspire to, and I'm very grateful that I've been able to do that a few times.
That is so cool, and a great note upon which to wind us up, because we're like 20 minutes over time.
Surprise, surprise.
I'm surprised people aren't going, yeah, this is great, but I really gotta go. It's gotten real quiet on the live chat, which leads me to think that a few people have done that. But anyway, gosh, thank you, all of you, for stepping up on such short notice when Steve wasn't able to make it. And it turned out to be a fantastic show. So, not that I expected any less from the three of you, but
Well, short notice is fine. It's like we are all ready to step up to the plate. So,
I appreciate
it. Thanks for having us.
You guys all saved my bacon, and I appreciate that very much. But it, as I expected, was a fantastic show. And, let's you're any and all of you welcome at any time to come back on.
We got to keep it going, man. I'm glad it was you and not me, because once I heard that you were starting a Mead podcast, I'm like, thank God. I don't have to
You don't have to do it, yeah. Yeah, well, there are days, or rather weeks, where I go, I really want to take some time off. But, it's like we do have a really good time. It's just that sometimes the scheduling gets a little weird, and that does tend to be a little frustrating sometimes, especially while I'm traveling, because I never know. I'm looking ahead, and I'm going and I'm Googling, like, what's the signal strength at this RV park that we're going to be at on blah day, to make sure that I'm actually going to have a signal to do the show, so I can try to get ahead of myself in case we're not going to have it,
Yeah. Well, nobody can complain if it's free, so.
Yeah, well, no, and I mean, we've been pretty good. We've had to do a little creative juggling, but it's worked out actually pretty good. So yeah, and I'm just everybody send out positive vibes for Steve. He's going to be okay, but he might be a little ouchy for a little while. So it's all good. He's going to be fine. But yeah, this kind of caught him unaware. So positive vibes for the guy who wrote one of the books.
Yep.
That most all of us use as one of our Bibles,
Yeah. Get well, Steve.
Yeah, get well, Steve. We're thinking about you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to hearing that show, too.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to have him on in a couple of weeks. I'm going to check in with him after he gets done with whatever it is he's dealing with, and he's going to get in touch with me, and then we'll go from there. But next week we've got Scott Shar, so that should be fun.
That should be good, too.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah, this year's Mead Maker of the Year, so yeah, that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, Scott will be great.
Scott will be all kinds of great, yeah, so it'll be cool. But, all right, guys, well, thank you so much for coming on and for spending so much of your evening with us. We really do appreciate it. Thanks.
No problem.
All right. Bye-bye.
All
Our
right,
pleasure.
talk to you guys later.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just down to you and me now because Manny had to bail there because...
Family, yeah.
Yeah, family and all that kind of thing. So for anybody that's been wondering, Manny is out of the wheelchair and back up and walking as of today. So, and no extra surgeries needed. He's going to make a full recovery, and it's all good. He was on the show tonight, and he's actually even gotten back to limited mead drinking, which is way cool. So not quite up to where he can... do, like full-on mead making, but he's working on it. So, it's all cool, and he's going to be okay. So, okay, let's get this wound up since I have kept everybody, and AJ included, far too long because that was fascinating. And Tom's so much fun when he gets on a roll.
Totally.
God, he's a blast. Okay, so where's Got Mead? Okay, so this week, for the rest of the week, I will be in Western Washington. And for those of you that might want to connect up with me, I am going to be at, let me think here. I got to talk to Dragon's Lair about what time. So, Chris, if you're listening, I got to get up with you. I am going to be on the 13th of July. I'm going to Irvin Millie's Mead and Ethereal Mead. Down in Battleground. So, and I will actually be at Ethereal Mead later in the afternoon. So, something along the lines of 4:30 or so. So, if you want to come by, that's great. If they're, I don't know if they're open that day or not. On the 14th, and I'm going to Oregon Mead and Cider and Fringe Mead down in Portland. So, I have to get with them and set up times. And then on the 15th, I'm going to Apagard Meadery. They're doing a release for a plum mead, so I'm really excited about that. And that starts at 2 o'clock, and I will be there, at 12 o'clock, and I will be there for a couple of hours, starting at 12. I want to get in there right when they start, and I got to be out of there after a couple hours because we're all going up to look at the Flight Museum, So, yeah, I know, like going geeking a little bit on that, 17th to the 22nd of July, I will be out near San Francisco, and I'm going to be visiting, and I'm still working out dates, and I'll publish this on Got Mead as well as on a couple of other places on Facebook so that you guys will be able to track us down. Rabbit's Foot Meadery, Mead Kitchen, Be Divine, and the San Francisco Mead Company. And then the 22nd to the 26th, I'm going to be in and around Los Angeles and Oceanside, visiting Honey Pot, Golden Coast, Reckless Brewing, Bronto Brew, Mediocrity. This is going to be bloody awful. Just terrible. Twisted Horn Mead and Cider, Raging Cider and Mead, and Lost Cause Mead. Hi, Billy. And, basically hitting all of those. I may have to visit some of them in groups. I don't know. We haven't worked that all out yet. The 26th to the 29th, I will be in Prescott, Arizona. And I hope I got that right, Prescott people. Superstition Mead, the Drinking Horn Mead and Meadery, and Arizona Mead Company. And then 29th of July to August 1st, I'll be in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and doing a collaboration mead with Falcon Mead. 2nd of August to 7th of August, I will be in Fredericksburg, Texas, and I'm not sure which all. I've got to look at there's a whole, definitely Meridian Hive, and I think Texas Mead Works are both within easy driving distance-ish. I've got to look at the distances. Texas is very deceiving. So stay tuned. I'll give you guys a bigger update next week on Texas as to which meaderies I'll definitely be able to visit. And then if you're in and around Memphis, there are no meaderies there, but I'm going to be in Memphis on August 9th. So just coming in the afternoon of the 8th and then leaving the morning of the 10th. So hanging out in Memphis on August 9th, having dinner with a friend that night, but otherwise we'll be at loose ends. 10th to the 14th of August, we'll be in and around the Asheville area, North Carolina, and visiting Fox Hill Mead and Bee and Bramble Mead. So That's the Where's Got Mead update for today. Hopefully none of those dates will change. We don't expect them to. There was some juggling that happened as a result of a couple of cancellations that we had. But that is the state of things as they stand right here and now. Okay, next week we've got Scott Shar, the National Homebrew Conference Mead Maker of the